Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to this edition of the lunch break. But you know it, it's Thursday, so it is the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and Roku via the BS3 Network. And I'm happy to say, relieved to say, have a sponsor for the show for a few weeks. Saxenia family coming through on the takeover. So you see them in the upper right corner. Salute to them. You're watching this show, of course, on Roku. You can watch the Houston Roundball review shows on demand via the BS3 TV app. If you have a Roku streaming device, you can just download BS3 TV. If you don't have it, get it. Just go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. Get into it. Rex says, well, that leads into one of my topics. Rex, how are you? Thank you, as always, for participating in the discussion here on the Takeover. It is game week. It is well as week one in college football. Some Florida State fans want to forget about week zero as a team got run over and embarrassed by Georgia Tech in week zero in Ireland. Offensive line play, defensive line play. But that's for another topic, another team. We talked about that on Folks Talking Sports. Week one, Cougs hosting UNLV, 6 o'clock Central Time, FS1. Rex, I think you live in Houston, don't you? I think you live in Houston. How much promotion have you seen, heard about the game, about the Cougs versus UNLV this Saturday at TDECU Stadium? How much have you seen around town? How many billboards have you seen? How much buildup have you seen? I'm curious. Some of my mentees who are students at UH have told me they haven't seen very much on campus about the game this Saturday. Why the hell not? UH football has done a better job on Instagram, on social media, trying to get the word out. And see, Rex and I are on the same wavelength. Got that mind meld going so far. Heard more about the Trill Burger promotion on social media than the actual game itself. Yes, Trill Burger will open up a spot inside TDECU Stadium, begin serving their food this Saturday at the game, including the Trill tenders. Bun B and his folks should be paying me for as many times as I mentioned them right so far in the show. Seriously. And hell, I'm serious. I'm a businessman. I went to UH. I got a business degree. You want to advertise on the show? Hit me up right there. Advertise at thehrr.com. Support the Roundball Review like the Saxenia family has done on all the platforms, all the shows that the Roundball Review is part of on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. But yeah, Bun B, come on. You and your wife, your people, your chefs. Hit a brother up. Advertise at thehrr.com. Roku, y'all know it's a big platform. If you're chiming in about 12 minutes or so, Mr. Alvin Franklin will be joining me, hopefully. He's trying to squeeze me into his very busy schedule to join me on the takeover today. Got a few topics I want to ask him about. And he's been on the job about a little more than 52 weeks. He started last year at UH in August. So I don't remember the exact date, but he was a guest on the show last year in August. So we're trying to do it again. See if we can make it a tradition, at least every August, to have him on the show, on the takeover, for as long as he's at UH and as long as I'm doing the takeover. But yes, Mr. Alvin Franklin, senior associate AD, he's got his hands full and a lot to discuss with him. So be patient with me on that. But yes, for those watching this edition of the Takeover, if you are new to the show, welcome. Thank your friends for telling you about the show. Thank you for joining the show. Don't be shy. You can be like Rex32, participate in the conversation on Facebook or YouTube. Type in your comments. I'll try to answer them. I'll try to, if you have some questions for Alvin, I'll see if I can present them to him and see if he answers them. But we talk a lot of H-Town teams here on this show, on the Thursday takeover of the lunch break. I'm H-Town proud. I am a UH alum, proud graduate 30 years ago, the class of 1994. But prior to that, prior to Mr. Franklin joining the conversation, doing something a little bit different. Some info about the local area teams, and not just football. But as you know, my alma mater goes first. It's my show. Cougs Athletics, Cougs this week, as mentioned. Football kicks off their season this Saturday, hosting UNLV, 6 o'clock on FS1. Soccer is 1-2-1. 4 matches. They've scored a total of 2 goals in those 4 matches. Last game they won, they defeated Charleston State 1-0. Next match is tonight, hosting UTSA at 7 p.m. Volleyball will begin its season Friday, August 30th in the Omaha Invite. First up facing host school Omaha on Friday at 6 o'clock. And then Washington State from the Pac-2 on Saturday the 31st at high noon. Next, HCU Athletics will also begin their football season this Saturday on the 31st. They're at SMU. SMU, of course, is new to the Atlantic Coast Conference. That game will be at 7 o'clock. Men's soccer is 3-1. The last match they won 1-0. Let me get my lingo correct. Soccer 1-0 over IU Indianapolis on August 25th. They host North American. So they're facing some not quite heavy hitters so far on this young season. Tonight at 7 p.m. Women's soccer, on the other hand, is 1-3. They did pick up their first win at Southern, 2-1 on the 25th. They host UTEP Saturday on August 31st. Volleyball got a lot of ties in with this one. The Rice Invitational features a few Houston area schools. First up, it's HCU. Huskies will face Texas State tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Rice to the field house before facing, I got a little typo. They got to fix that. Before facing TSU, they face Rice on the 30th at 7 o'clock. I think that's right. And then TSU Saturday morning at 11. So if you like some volleyball, go to Rice and watch some volleyball in the Rice Invitational. And it's number 1, so there'll be another one later on in the season. Rice football also begins season this Saturday. Sam Houston will be in town. 6 o'clock start at Rice Football Stadium. A lot of football in the area. Soccer, 3-1. They lost their one loss at number 1 Florida State. Lost 3-0 last Thursday. Tonight they they're at Lamar. 6 o'clock start. Volleyball, as mentioned, the Rice Invitational. Rice hosts HCU. 7 o'clock on Friday, and then Texas State Saturday at 3 p.m. Prairie View, the Labor Day Classic. This Saturday, PV hosts Texas Southern at 6 p.m. on the Hill. And let me say this before I get into more details. Wednesday, the 28th, I attended the Labor Day Classic Luncheon hosted by the Touchdown Club. Oh, it was something else. It was some friendly trash talk. Miss Wanda Polk, thank you for taking time to join the discussion here on the Takeover. But the presidents from each school, TSU and Prairie View, had a few friendly barbs back and forth about their opponents. The ADs got involved. The irony is the coaches, Bubba McDowell and Kris Dishman, are 2 of the most soft-spoken people you ever want to meet. And compared to the ADs and the presidents, Bubba and Kris are just mild and mild-mannered. And, hey, I respect Bubba. I respect Kris. It's going to be a hard-fought game on Saturday. And, it wasn't much coach speak. But Bubba McDowell did remind Kris Dishman and AD Kevin Granger for TSU. Prairie View has won 9 straight matchups in the Labor Day Classic. So they're going for 10 in a row this Saturday on the Hill as PV hosts Texas Southern. Thrillo, if you're watching, you already messaged me. Hopefully the streak ends on Saturday. I doubt it, but we'll see. Oh, Rex, I don't believe there's any question about this one, right? Your comment right there. I feel certain that Sam Houston will have more fans at Rice Stadium than Rice House fans. No doubt. no doubt. That's not a great thing. Salute to the Bearkats fans, but Rice fans, they just don't support Rice alums. The handful of students who live on campus, they've gotten better, more active at football games and basketball games, but the numbers are still so small. But good luck to both squads. Back to PV athletics. Soccer 1 and 2, the last match that they lost 9-0 at North Texas. 9 goals allowed. Woo! They host Tarleton State Friday at 7 o'clock. Volleyball begins their season in the Sam Houston State tournament. Friday morning against Sam Houston. Then Friday afternoon, they'll face Stephen F. Austin before facing Incarnate Word Saturday at 12:30. And as mentioned, Texas Southern, Labor Day Classic. They go to PV, Prairie View on the Hill, this Saturday at 6 o'clock. See if they can end their 9-game losing streak to the Prairie View Panthers. Soccer is 1 and 2. They lost also to North Texas and were also shut out by North Texas, but they only lost 2-0. Their next match is Sunday at Rice. Rice, of course, is 3 and 1. 1 o'clock kickoff for that match. And as mentioned about the Rice Invitational, TSU begins its season. They'll be in town at Rice to the field house. They'll face Texas State Friday at 4 o'clock, and then they'll face HCU, little inner city rivalry in volleyball, August 31st at 11 o'clock. Going to play a clip, real brief comments from head coach Willie Fritz, Houston Cougars football, about the Cougs' opponent who they are facing this Saturday at 6 o'clock inside TDECU Stadium on FS1. Here are Coach Fritz's thoughts about UNLV offense and head coach Barry Odom.
So, in UNLV, our first opponent had an outstanding season last year. I got a ton of respect for Coach Odom and how he does things. I've known him a long period of time, and they've done an excellent job recruiting, and really look good across the board: offense, defense, and kicking game. Well, we've looked at all the quarterbacks. We'll figure that out soon enough. They're all good athletes and can throw it and run it. I would say not all of them equal ability, but as far as running and throwing, but they do both. They're not going to change your offense dramatically when one guy's in as opposed to another. Offensively, they do a really nice job. They really do a bunch of window dressing with backfield sets and formations and motions and shifts, which a lot of people are doing nowadays. We've worked a lot against a huddle, tempo huddle and breaking the huddle and getting lined up quickly. I think with the sideline to quarterback communication, that's going to be part of the game that you're going to have to work on every single week. I think a lot of people are going to be doing that now because it really gets everybody on the same page. And, that's how you outflank people and get people out of position is breaking that huddle and getting lined up quickly. They showed some tempo last season as well. So a lot of similarities to things we do offensively. We go fast, we go moderate tempo, and then we also will huddle at times as well.
There you have it. Comments from Cougs head coach Willie Fritz about UNLV, the Rebels. The Cougs face the Rebels, host the Rebels this Saturday at 6 o'clock in town. Rex, what are your thoughts on the game? Miss Wanda, what are your thoughts? I think UNLV was, 9-3 last season? Had a winning record. Saturday's game is going to be tough for these new Cougs under head coach Willie Fritz. I'm kind of curious to see how the Cougs are going to look. I haven't looked at the betting line. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cougs don't win this game. do not if they start the season 0-1. I hope I'm wrong. But without further ado, this guy is punctual. I like that. That's a good sign for business people. He is punctual. And bringing him in, let me get this right because I don't want to make it seem like he's being endorsed, and I don't want him to get him in trouble. So let me do this. There we go. Mr. Alvin Franklin, how are you, sir?
Hey, man, how you doing, Kris?
Doing great. This is your 1 year anniversary, roughly, at Houston, right?
Yesterday made 1 year.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, let's recap your first year in charge. And by the way, make it official. What's your official title at UH?
Title's kind of long, but it's Senior Associate Athletic Director, and there's an Executive Director of Development.
Which means what, sir?
So that means I oversee our fundraising efforts here with Houston Athletics. So fundraising from major gifts, annual fund, premium seating, and then also we're really now our relationship really with NIL.
All right, year one. How would you recap your first year at UH in that title?
Man, honestly, man, it's actually was a great year one. I know we had some transitions in between there with, from football coach to athletic director, chief revenue officer. Those are three key transitions that happened during my first year. But when I took this job, I knew, me and you jumped on one of these calls kind of about 2 weeks in. Mm-hmm. And, we talked about the focus of really, really, capitalizing on the excitement about getting to the Big 12 and getting more and more people involved. This year, we closed more major gifts than ever before here. And a major gift here at the University of Houston is qualified as any commitment of $25,000 or more, over a 5-year period, up to a 5-year period. And we closed more this year than ever before. And I will tell you, we eclipsed that number, not by, talking to the same people. That's kind of been the message out there, is that, we go to the same people. Now, were all of these people in this record number 7-figure commitments or high 6-figure commitments? Not all of them. We had, I really feel like with our constituents and donor base, we have a niche, and that our really soft spot is in this $25,000 to $100,000 range. Now, do we need some people? We know some people are going to fall under there, and we know there's going to be some people who can do more. But for U of H, for Houston Athletics to really hit, the summit and continue to rise, we have to capitalize on a fan base, donor base, constituent base that's really excited right now about being in a Power 4 conference, wanting to compete at a high level. That $25,000 to $100,000 range over a 5-year period is really where we can really capitalize and build some momentum.
And I'll say this, I'm not going to speak for you. It all adds up. Okay.
It does.
Obviously, you'd like to have someone say, Alvin, hey, man, I'm going to give you $25 million. But you'll take the 25, 30.
Yeah, we're going to need, in all transparency, we're going to need some of these, 7-8-figure commitments. We're going to need them going forward. The $1 million question is that from individuals? Is it from corporations? Honestly, it's going to need to be both. Mm-hmm. Just being honest with you, there's going to be there needs to be some synergy and a plan in place, and we're getting there. What is our approach? But honestly, what people have to understand is, the word that I don't like is the word just. I can just give this. I can, I'm just a $25,000 donor. No, you matter. You're important. And what happens is, you think about you ask yourself, how do you want it? Would you rather close $1 million gift or $100,000 gift to get to $1 million? And, honestly, the $100,000 gifts are way more, impactful because we just tapped into 10 new networks.
Right.
And so it's for the taking. I think that, the excitement is there. We have to, the University of Houston, we have alums, not just in town. I know, it's like, in sports, you always say you got to win home first, right? You got to be good at home. Mm-hmm. We still have some work to do. We have to put our arms around the city. We have to. But along those same lines, there's opportunities in Dallas, in Austin, in San Antonio, in other parts. We have a big alumni base in Denver. We have alums in Phoenix. And I'm mentioning those cities because those are cities that we're going to start going to now with the addition of Colorado, the addition of, the corner schools, Arizona State. And, on the East Coast, we're starting to get more alums, all around the country. And yes, we got to put our arms around the city, but there are people all over that we've never gotten to. And honestly, if there hasn't been a better times right now.
I don't want to get you in trouble. Okay. So I'm going to try to phrase this more from my perspective rather than, were you surprised at the work needed to be done in year one?
Honestly, I was not surprised. And this was not because of the University of Houston. I'll be honest with you, just talking to colleagues around the country, a lot of schools are in the same boat.
Yes.
So we're not an outlier. I think what made it tougher than some of our peers right now is we had a 3-pronged problem, and we still do. We're turning into a 2-pronged problem. I'll get to that probably later on as we continue to talk. But when I say 3-pronged problem, we had a operating budget deficit that we were facing and trying to figure out how to get out of. Then you're trying to build facilities, mm-hmm. and then also you have the acronym NIL. And, in a lot of schools, I wouldn't say a lot, but more of your traditional powers have their facilities are already built, mm-hmm. so that they don't even have to address that. Or, then you have some schools where you have facilities already built and their budget is efficient, right? So you have that, so now they can put all their eggs into one basket on NIL. You know what I mean? So there's only one ask. Like right now, you go, for instance, I'm going to use basketball, for example. We have to me, the best basketball program in the country. No, we're going to win a national championship here. It's going to happen.
Agreed,
we're just knocking on the door. It's going to happen. But when I sit down with someone and they say, well, Alvin, I love Coach Sampson. I want to help men's basketball. How can I help? Well, depends on what you want to do. You can get a 50-50 and support, the operating budget for men's basketball. Oh, you also can help with the Guy V. Lewis renovation on the facility. Oh, or you can help us maintain a championship caliber roster, both from a retention and recruiting standpoint with NIL. Mm-hmm. So if they say, well, Alvin, I only have $10,000 to give you. So now what happens if they say, well, I want to spread it amongst all three of them? Whereas if, now we have the facility, it's done. We've just we finished fundraising this over the last couple of months for the renovation of the Guy V. Lewis development facility.
Yes.
So now you take that one off. As we grow into the Big 12 and becoming a full share, budgetarily, we have no issues, right? We'll have no issues when it comes to the budget. So now it'll be one ask. That's been really the challenge that we've kind of had the last, I've been here 12 months, probably 12 to 18 months here, is this puzzle piece of trying to figure out trying to put, how does the puzzle piece fit? That's kind of, how I see it.
What have you heard from members of Cougar Pride with any of their questions or concerns?
Yes. People have we have to make it cleaner. What is the message? I think, and that ultimately falls on me of what is the message. And we've been trying to figure out, because really when you roll something out, is anything in life, you got one time. You got one time to put it out there. This is the charge. This is the actions. That call to action piece, you can only be so loud so many times. And so we really got to bring that into, instead of having 10 to 15 priorities, make it 2 or 3, make it simple. We got to simplify our organization a little more. And people need to know, hey, where's the impact that I'm making? No matter what dollar amount you're giving, what is the impact? Because I think that's the piece that some people, they struggle with. Is my money just going down a black hole? We got to explain it a little better. So,
what are your impressions of Mr. Eddie Nuñez so far?
Juice. I think one word, juice. I mean, he has been, Eddie got off the plane last Tuesday night, jumped right into the press conference on Wednesday. And, he's been high energy the whole time. Some people step into, especially leadership roles. First thing people go is, I'm drinking out of a fire hydrant. I'm drinking out of a fire hose, right? It has been, and he is taking this really with grace. I'm here to help. I'm in it. I'm rolling my sleeves up and getting dirty with you guys. Sometimes in transitions, how it is. You've seen people go, well, I'm just going to take my time. And it's probably going to take him some time. I don't speak for him. It's probably going to take him some time to make some key decisions or probably put, after he sees it, goes on listening to a learning tour, however he wants to put it, to actually put his strategic plan in place. But right now, he is like, man, I'm rolling my sleeves up and getting down and get dirty with you guys. How can I help? How can I be of help to this organization right now?
I think you had a new staffer yourself, right? Didn't someone join you recently?
Yes. And that's going to be a part of the evolution of Cougar Pride over the next couple of years. We grow into this thing. Just hired Allie White. Allie joined us from Tulane, where she was an assistant AD of major gifts there, and she'll be an associate AD of major gifts here. And she's going to oversee, not kind of our major gift fundraising strategy, and really, really hitting the ground running when it comes to us continuing to evolve with major gift fundraising. It was actually a very fun search. We had some great candidates. It was a true national search. When I look at, we had candidates from Northeast, West Coast, South. I mean, they were from everywhere. And so this was, we landed on Allie and think she's going to be great. She's very versatile. Before Tulane, she was at Cal Berkeley. People go, Alvin, I know you were biased. You hired someone for Tulane because of Coach Fritz. Now that did help, because she knows Coach Fritz. And she knows really, the mantra that he has and how he does things. But the Cal Berkeley situation really stood out to me because if you're familiar with Cal, they have so many sports.
Yes.
And they do the kind of what people go with us with Cougar Pride. You have the Sport Pacific Giving when he talks about Dugout Club, 50-50. And Cal is structured the same way. And so that was really stood out. Someone who has experience with the same, structure. And they had traditionally the same challenges from a budgetary standpoint in their league. Mm-hmm. So that was what really stood out to me.
Question for you. And I'm curious, how much did you have in the decision process with the AD search?
Had literally none. I would, the search firm, ran the search, vetted candidates, and then of course our upper administration and it's been said Coach Sampson and Coach Fritz got involved toward the end of it. The only thing that was asked to me that ironically the search firm who ran the search for Eddie was also the same search firm that ran the search for me to come here. And so I had familiarity with the firm. And so I got a phone call from the firm kind of early on and just asked really, about structure, both in the department and kind of some university personnel, how synergy, how people work with one another, things like that. But that was about it.
What are some of your goals or your main goal for year 2 for you at Houston?
I want us to definitely keep building on the new donor piece. The new donor piece helps with multiple facets of the organization. Number one, of course, we raise more money, right? We raise more money, but also what it does is it really helps with the donor fatigue. We got to give, our larger donors and the people who have been really consistent the last 2 decades, we got to give them a little break. We got to help them out a little bit. stop, and for them, it could be, I'm just giving an example. Somebody's been consistently somebody who can give us, commit to $1 million, right? We need to be able to say, hey, for right now, I know I want to come back to you for 2.5 in about 6 or 7 years. But right now, if you can continue to do half of that, that and that helps, keep us going, keep the momentum going. We got to give them a little break. So focusing on, continue to bring in new donors. We really have to be more aggressive in the NIL space. And I've said it on here before, this university has been really, really good, especially when NIL became a thing in the summer of 21, of tapping into the corporate community. But NIL is continuing to evolve, and it's no secret the number continues to go up. Yes, and that is what it is. But corporate budgets, it's kind of in a box, right? Like they're kind of, this is our marketing budget. This is what we can do. And they're really, it's a lot of red tape there. And so we're going to continue to get more donors engaged, individuals as well with NIL. So that's a goal there, because we got to move, because now the timelines are quicker, especially with the way the transfer portal is set up, the limited transfer rule, multiple transfer windows. Is becoming a situation where there's got to be more cash available more times a year. And so, really, really having a strategic plan around how we're going to do that. And another thing, really, really being more engaged with the ticket office. The relationship we work with the ticket office hand in hand every day. But really, we got new personnel over there right now. How can we continue to grow with what we're doing, what they're doing, to continue to drive more butts in seats, get more people at our venues, and not just in football and men's basketball. I think the opportunities here are endless when you talk about, your other sports as well. So our volleyball team, top 15 program in the country. We got to get, baseball is big here in the city of Houston.
Right.
And we've had baseball success before, so there's no reason to, with Coach Whitting and what he's doing over there to continue to get more people over there, women's basketball, and I look at women's basketball. When you think about Houston, not just University Houston, you think about women's basketball, you go right to the Houston Comets. This city has rallied behind that sport before, and it can again. And then softball is one of the fastest growing sports in the country right now. And we have other sports, soccer, we host track meets. We just got to continue to work together to drive more and more people to our campus for all of our sports.
I know your time is short, but real quick, last question for you. After the football ops building is complete, what are the next projects coming up? Nothing really major.
That's kind of a TBD, because honestly, capital projects really fall under the priorities of the leader. You know what I mean? And so right now with Eddie just getting here, he may, there could be something that he's eyeing, something that we think is really, really efficient space. And he may say, I think it needs some more work, or it needs an enhancement. I can honestly say, I don't foresee right now a new construction project after we're done with the Football Operations Center in the near future. But I can see a couple of renovations depending on, the priorities that he has in place in his mind.
All right, my man. Thank you as always for taking time out of your schedule to join me here on the Takeover. Keep in touch. And as always, if you have something you want to share with me and the audience, just let me know, and you can come out and do it again.
Man, Kris, we appreciate you, man. What you do for Houston athletics, always being present, showing up, speaking positivity about the Cougs means a lot.
Thank you, man. You take care. Alvin Franklin. Yeah. All right, that was Alvin Franklin, the UH Senior Associate Athletics Director for Development / Executive Director of Development. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to do this. I didn't do it last Thursday, so the bottom of the hour, a little bit past the bottom of the hour. Take a 35-second break to let everyone know if you're new to the show. Thank you. Come again. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. I do this every Thursday. So here we are, little clip, so you can know a little bit more about what the BS3 Network is all about.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to this edition of the Lunch Break, also known as the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. I'm, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. And you see up in the upper right corner, the Takeover is being sponsored by the Saxenian family. And if you follow Let's Rage Coogs, you recognize them as a sponsor and kind enough to be a sponsor of the Takeover for a few more weeks. So, hey, it was great tie-in connection with sponsoring today's show. And this will happen to be that Mr. Alvin Franklin from UH, Senior Associate AD, joined the show. So thank you very much for that. And future supporters, if you want to support the Roundball Review, you can always do that. Very simple. Advertise at thehrr.com. Once again, advertise at thehrr.com. The Takeover is seen on Facebook, YouTube, FireTV, Twitch, and Roku via the BS3 Network. All right, we got almost 23 full minutes. No segment from Sybil Wilkes to go to wrap up today's show. So I'm going to give you got all me for the closing parts of the show. Rex32, glad you enjoyed that. D Skills, thank you very much for chiming in. The changes sound more like being better organized. Well, you know, we talked about that, so that's important. And in the future, thank you very much. That's a new name there. Thank you very much. LBUH, cool. Thank you. Don't be a stranger. Tell your friends about this show. Tell your friends about the Takeover. Tell your friends about the Houston Roundball Review. A lot of different content here on this YouTube channel, including Let's Rage Cougs with Andy Nuñez and Dayon Dunlap. And we got some surprises in store. Andy Nuñez has worked his mojo. Dayon as well. We got a few more irons in the fire and have some added people, parts of future Let's Rage Coug shows to provide their insight and knowledge and their football expertise. Hint, hint, hint. About that, let's see. Rex says, am I going to watch the Detroit Pistons documentary on YouTube? How do you know about it? So if there is one, yeah, I'll watch it. My young man, Cody Davis, has been sending me stuff about Detroit now that Cody is the Detroit News beat writer for the Pistons. So, yeah, he has not sent me that. Someone, who was it? Someone, I got a little reference about the recruiting Kelvin Sampson men's basketball. They had Isaiah Harwell, top 10 recruit for the class of 2025, in town over last weekend for an official visit. It went well. When I was told, Isaiah was not going to commit after the visit. It has been planned that he would announce his choice on September 12th. That has not changed as far as I know. But it went well. He enjoyed his visit. I think he has one more official visit to take. And then after that, he'll make his decision. You know, the word is the Cougs are the favorite school. We shall see. Anything can change. But just another example of the job in recruiting that Coach Kelvin Sampson and the staff have done and continue to do, because they have another top 15 talent making a visit this weekend. He's a big man. Chris Cenac, Cenac, will be making his visit this weekend. And they have 4 more official visits lined up the next few weeks. 5 of them are ranked top 60. And the 6th one is will probably end up being ranked right around 100. So just think about how far the program has come to have 6 top 100 recruits coming to make official visits to the Houston Cougars men's basketball program. I think they have a chance to get 2 of those 6. You know, more than 2 would be amazing, be spectacular. And real talk, would be expensive, because some of that is going to involve NIL. You know, hey, That's reality. Some alums don't want to hear that. But this is reality. This is life in a power conference, life in the Big 12. NIL is where major college sports is. Reminder, these skills, that's for you. The non-conference schedule for the Houston Cougars women's basketball program. Just putting it up there. Start the season on election night. Why? They do that. Then they go to Georgia. Then on the 14th at Rice before hosting HCU on November 17th. Then Alcorn State on November 21st. Then on Texas on November 24th. Thank you, Rex. I'll check it out. Then they go to New Orleans for the Big Easy Classic on the 29th and 30th. They face Minnesota from the Big Ten. And then Pacific from what is that? Pacific is West Coast Conference. And then December 4th at UTA before closing out the non-conference schedule at home versus Southeastern Louisiana on December 8th and Mississippi Valley State on, December 8th, and then Valley on December 17th. Okay. This next little bit is about UConn. UConn. D-Skills, Rex, LB, if you're still watching, folks watching on Facebook, YouTube, FireTV, Roku, via BS3. Y'all have heard it. You know about it. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark. I hope you've had a chance to see my interview with the Big 12 Vice President of Women's Basketball, Miss Dana Scharf, spelled Scherf, but pronounced Scharf. We spoke on Monday. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Folks, spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review. Been doing this 30 years. Let me say it again. Had guest with the Vice President, Big 12 VP, Women's Basketball. That means something, people. Okay? I have other guests lined up relating to the Big 12. Spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review. Okay? Just putting it out there. But UConn. Big 12 presidents don't want UConn because football is not very good. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Have they seen Vanderbilt football in the SEC? Do folks know what Rutgers football is in the Big Ten? Do you realize that there are awful football programs in every major conference? Do you realize that? You should if you don't. But this, and I'm going to wrap it up, the show about the Players Era Festival. But for now, UConn. Mike Anthony is a writer, covers UConn sports, UConn athletics for the Hearst, Connecticut Media Group. Has some comments from football head coach Jim Mora, but also UConn AD David Benedict. Now, tell me, after I go over these comments from the article from Mike Anthony, if you think David Benedict is serious about competing in football and wants to be competitive in football on a Power 4 level. The title, as Big 12 expansion rumors boil, UConn pours NIL money into football because they're tired of being disrespected. Want to win in football and stay relevant as a nationally celebrated athletic program? Raise money, spend, recruit. Raise money, spend, recruit, repeat until one of these conference realignment rent cycles lands with the Huskies in a power conference, earning some $20 to $30 million more annually than it does today, and then double down on efforts again years into the future. The Huskies raised and spent about $100,000 last season through NIL efforts. That's minuscule. They know that. This season, the number is up tenfold to somewhere between $1 to $1.25 million. That is something Dave Benedict, UConn AD, was willing to discuss on the record. I'm going to talk about the Big 12 rumors on the record. Quote, we're going to double it, NIL, next year at least. We're going to pour gas on it. We're going to win in football. I'm tired of being disrespected as a brand nationally because of football. And I get it. But the difference as we sit here today is we have NIL and revenue sharing now. And before, when we were a BCS affiliate with the old Big East, we could recruit differently. When that went away, it really impacted this university in a way that is probably unique because of the location. There are very, very good recruits here, but there are a limited number, and they all go. If you look at the top 10 every year, there's one thing in common. All of them are going to power conferences. Whether NIL and revenue sharing will help us keep some of those kids will be determined, but we can recruit in a totally different way, end quote. I'll come back to this in the next slide in a second. Right there, those comments. A fan, alum, and alums should love to hear that aggressiveness from their athletic director. In real talk, we're going to raise money, we're going to compete in football, and we're going to win. You want your AD to talk like that. So what would be so bad about UConn joining the Big 12 for football if you have an AD who's serious about competing and winning in football? Make it make sense to me, Rex, Miss Wanda, D-Skills. Make it make sense to me. Do I want, hell yes, I want UConn in the Big 12. Hell yes. Hell yes. All caps, hell yes. But my reasoning is different. And it's financial, but it's because of basketball. Because when UConn was in the same conference as Houston before, UConn made me money. And nice bits of money. Talking to Gino and the UConn women's players. That's on the women's side. So imagine what they would do now with Danny Hurley and the fellas on the men's side. So hell yes, I want UConn in the Big 12. So if your Mark believes he can secure a big media deal for basketball only, I'd say go ahead and bring UConn in. Now there we get into some questions. But back to the slides. We have an unbelievable university. We have great facilities. We have great coaches. And we're going to start providing people with great opportunities in other ways. That's NIL. The reality of a year ago is there was no emphasis on it. NIL. There wasn't a plan. It was still something that collectively everyone was trying to figure out the best approach with. Last year, we made a decision that this was something we had to get in the business of, and we quickly were able to organize and have people lead an effort that aggregated resources that put us in the very top echelon in the group of 5. Your Mark doesn't want UConn because he's a UConn fan or likes the color blue or something. He wants UConn because he believes the Huskies' inclusion makes the conference more attractive for the next round of media rights negotiations. He wants the sport. He wants New York, New England. He has proven pretty sharp in this area. And then a quote from football head coach. That's the world of college athletics right now, Jim Moore. Right now, and it's changing every day. But you're so dependent on people having a passion for their university and a belief in their program. So as a coach, and as I told the players, it makes you feel responsible, more responsible to those men and women who have given money to this program and funded NIL opportunities for our players. It's become very much more like pro football, end quote. Oh, yes. UConn left the AAC because they didn't fit the culture. Oh, yeah. That's basketball related. No question. The basketball folks, outside of Coach Hurley, the media, probably Coach Oriema, excuse me, want, heck, the Connecticut Senator, Mr. Murphy, wants UConn to stay in the Big East. Sure. Understand that. Sure they do. I'm just telling you, read to you what the AD wants. As long as David Benedict is at UConn as AD, he is going to place a priority on football. Some folks think he's nuts, but he believes in football. He believes in, well, he sees that revenue that football generates, and that is a driving factor, obviously, behind it. But as long as he's in charge of athletics at UConn, he's going to try to get UConn in a Power 4 conference with football because of that money, because of that eventually 30, 35, 40, 45, $50 million annually for their budget. And see, said it right there. Guess everything is money based. That's right. From a logic standpoint, UConn Big 12 makes no sense. But logic left the train years ago. You don't care about the student assets. You don't care about all that. This is about money. D-Skill says, I hope basketball can start to bring in more money with the next TV deals. I hope so. I agree. It would. We shall see. And of course, 7 years, that's a long time from now. Who knows if there's going to be a Big 12 like as it's currently constructed, if there's going to be an NCAA as currently constructed. Who knows? But what is the phrase? Scared money doesn't make any money. Scared money never made money. CA says, doesn't mind UConn, just don't care for so many teams in one league. That horse left the barn too. I don't either. I think 10 teams, 12 tops is the most for a conference because now we're getting into 18, some point 20 and 22. That's just two conferences matched together. That's all that is. I mean, that's what it is. But the money is the driving force for all of this. And speaking of money, Players Era Festival. Colleague Matt Norlander, CBS Sports, tweeted out Wednesday that the Players Era Festival, the Thanksgiving week Vegas-based NIL, that really should be men's college basketball event, that will purportedly pay out millions in NIL earnings to players from the 8 teams involved, has finalized its venue, dates, and broadcast partner, sources told CBS Sports. The dates, notice the dates, November 26th, 27th, and 30. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Initially, it was Friday. The venue, not just one location, the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Broadcast games will air via all of the Warner Brothers Discovery channels, WBD. That's TNT, TBS, True TV, streaming on Max. Stop right there. As of this show, or as of prior to this show, the schedule on the UH Cougars website, Men's Hoops, has not updated to reflect the dates nor the opponents for the Players Era Festival. Wednesday, I was told this info regarding the Players Era Festival and the schedule that I'm about to get to was still fluid. I'm not doubting Matt Nolander's info. Just not all the I's have not been dotted, nor have all the T's been crossed. Okay? Because as I get to here, Tuesday, you see there on the Tuesday schedule, on November 26th, Alabama, Houston. That's Tuesday, 7 o'clock Central Time. So I think roughly the same time as the Duke-Kansas game airing on ESPN. Okay, Alabama, Houston. Last week, the Alabama-Houston game, as told to me, was going to take place on November 27th. So not the 26th. So you see, just in a few days, that has changed back to Tuesday. Last week, it was Wednesday. Last week, the Cougs are going to play Rutgers on Tuesday. Okay, so that's why I put all this out there. I'm telling you what I've been told and what I was told. So the Wednesday schedule, the Cougs are now facing Notre Dame. And look at that. Yes, that is 11:30 Central Time. 11:30 Central Time. 9:30 Vegas time. Not sure how many folks Cougs are going to stay up to watch that game. So that's two changes from what I was told just last week. So now on Saturday, the Cougs will face Rutgers. I was told last week the Cougs were going to face Notre Dame on the 29th. Now it's the 30th. Okay. So, Rex, we're going to end on a low note / high note. Question: did UH football finally give me a credential for this season? Nope. No, they did not. I have a credential for basketball. That's it. Not football. It was confirmed for me yesterday that the credential I have is just for, not just for, basketball. I probably could, if I wanted to get a credential for volleyball or what other sports, contact those media people and hopefully get approved, but just not for football. So yes, thank you, Rex, for asking the question. Miss Wanda, there you go with the answer. I am not credentialed for football. Maybe game by game, but not season pass. No. So yes, CA37, it is time, way past time for the Players Era Festival. Details to be finalized. And CA says on the record that UH football will handle UNLV just fine. Okay. I hope you're right. So D Skills says, if I end up going to Vegas, you better be flexible. Yeah. I'm not sure. Heck, now with the game, if it's going to be on Saturday the 30th, I might come home earlier because that's a lot, man. That's what, 5 days in Vegas? Ooh, boy. Man. But no, I don't think that's not the case. No, Rex, that's not the case. D Skill says not going to the UNLV game in protest of me not getting a credential. It's going to be the day before the event and we'll be changing the schedule. I thought that certain person was gone. Nope. So kind of wrap it up. This was fun. Thank you, everybody, for your questions and your comments. We're getting closer and closer to Rocket season. I put in my credential request for the Rockets, get that season pass. I did that a few days ago. I got a brief scouting report on the Rockets' new practice facility. And the words given to me were awesome, outstanding, spectacular, very impressive. So looking forward to seeing that in due time. So once again, thank you to Alvin Franklin for joining me during the show to talk about his job so far in year one at Houston as associate, and looking forward to year two, his goals and objectives. Thank you again to the Saxenian family for sponsoring this show, this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Very quickly, there are the ways to support the Houston Roundball Review. Send the Cash App, my government name, Christopher Gardner, with a K, Zelle at thehrr.com, as well as paypal.me/thehrr review. Wrapping it up. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's show. And remember this, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.